So yes, that aside, let's jump ahead.
Okay, so I think the next there's an aborted Superman Lives, I think, is the Nicolas Cage, Tim Burton from the 90s that doesn't get off the ground.
Because Burton was successful in the Batman franchise, so they thought maybe you can do this too. I think it was...
Let's give this weird gothic guy Superman and see what he can make of it.
Yeah, because anytime you try to make Superman dark and gritty, it always works well.
Yes. Yeah, that is a character that benefits from dark and gritty.
I think our sarcasm's going through the microphone. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think
it's corroding the microphone. The sparks coming off.
That's right. And just mention briefly too, so basically by the end of the 80s, Superman's done. But Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
I love that show as a kid. Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. Yep,
that was pretty good.
It was good.
So it wasn't like Superman went away entirely.
No, it was pretty successful as well.
It was quite successful, at least for a season or two.
And then there was the show Smallville.
Oh yeah, it ran for about 10 years or something.
It had a long lifespan. It was like...
I didn't watch that. I think that was when I got to the I'm done with Superman.
I still liked Superman at that point, but it wasn't Superman to me because like he was a teen drama. It was like the OC, but the main dude has... And I loved the OC more than Smallville.
I mean, he doesn't even leave Smallville, does he, in the 10th season? Or does he actually...
He goes on day trips to Metropolis, and they eventually introduce Lois Lane, and he meets the Flash and all this sort of stuff. And it's like 8 or 9 seasons before that happens.
Wow,
it's a long time to wait.
Meanwhile, in Superman 1, you have about a 10-minute sequence of him from baby to being in Metropolis.
And it's interesting to see he and Lex Luthor are friends as teenagers. I don't know how...
Oh, that's right.
I don't know how canon that is. I don't particularly like it.
That sounds like one of those, like, Bond and Blofeld are actually half-brothers.
Yeah. I think it's a...
Everyone has to be connected. No, they don't.
No, it makes your universe feel very small if everyone's dads were mates.
Very Smallville.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for that.
That show... So, late 90s?
I think it started airing in the early 2000s and would have kept going until the 2010s, early 2010s, at a guess.
Huh. I honestly, genuinely, completely forgotten about that.
I would say there is some crossover between that and Superman Returns.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I remember when it came out because I was an X-Men fan.
Oh, yeah.
For a little while.
You're an X-Man?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an X-Men fan. And of course... Okay.
I'm going to come into bat for you on that one.
Okay.
If this is the year 2006 when Superman Returns comes out, that is a good time to be an X-fan.
Yeah.
An X-Man fan. Because you've only had 2 movies and they've both been great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until... whenever the next one comes out and they get Brett Ratner.
Yeah, who fresh off Rush Hour 2 probably by that point.
This is years before he does the Melania documentary and is credibly accused of sexual harassment. Although I think even at the time he was a hack.
Yeah, he was the go-to. He was a studio director.
Yeah, if someone was asking for too much money, you'd threaten them and say, "Look, we're going to give your babies to Brett Ratner and see what he does with them." And watch that price come down.
Yeah. So, sorry if that sounded disjointed. In case you don't know the story, X-Men 1, 2, and 3 were Bryan Singer's babies, but he left X-Men 3 at kind of the 11th hour to go do Superman Returns.
I think he liked Superman more than he liked X-Men.
Yes,
my understanding.
And he kind of went, I've already done 2. So,
yeah. Bryan Singer also credibly accused of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
We'll
just come up with a list of people who haven't been horrible in Hollywood. And he takes his Cyclops with him to be Lois Lane's husband.
Yeah. Which
is why Cyclops is wiped out in the first 10 minutes of X-Men 3.
Yeah.
So X-Men 3 suffered for it, I think is my point.
Oh, for sure.
But Superman Returns wasn't great. It had an okay box office.
Yeah.
But the budget was insane.
Yeah, because it's got like
it was in
20 years of false starts that are tagged onto that budget.
Yeah, so its budget is supposedly something like 200 million. In practice, for when Bryan Singer made it, it was probably 100, 150 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard to know if it was genuinely profitable, but the fact that they didn't make another film says obviously Warner Brothers weren't happy.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your impression of... Did you see it at the time?
Yeah, I saw it at the movies. My favourite part about it was the Superman fanfare and the opening credits.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a love letter to the original.
I think that is maybe John Williams' best fanfare. I think, to me...
Agreed.
People like Jurassic Park. They're all good, unless there's some I'm forgetting. But Superman's the best, then Indiana Jones, then Star Wars, then Jurassic Park. And, oh no, Harry Potter's not good. I don't think the Harry Potter fanfare is very good.
Wait, he did that?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I genuinely didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jaws?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty simple. It works.
Yeah, I get the simplicity.
Okay. Whereas the Superman one is like, that's like, if you listen to that music when you're about to go for a run or something, like, you'll do better.
That's true. That is true.
So exhilarating. He doesn't get that with anything else.
So wait a minute. What you're telling me, the best part of Superman Returns is the stuff that they nicked from Superman 1?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I love the fact that they borrowed the brown cape from Superman 3. Oops, the microphone's shining sarcastic yellow again.
Oh, yeah.
So I just watched it for the first time about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it.
No, I don't think there's enough in there to hate.
Yeah, a lot of it is like the Lex Luthor stuff. It's real estate shenanigans again.
It's similar to... Like, Lex Luthor's plot is similar to his motivations for Superman 1.
Yes.
Where it's a real estate scam.
And it is very much in love with the original, and it was keyed that way, and it is supposed to be a sequel of... I'm confused about the time, though, because it's supposed to only be a few years later, but suddenly everyone has mobile phones.
Yeah.
So we're just ignoring that?
Yeah.
Okay. There wasn't an actual explanation for it, was there?
No.
Okay,
I think it is just...
Because he's only supposed to be gone for about 5 or 10 years or something.
Yeah, I think 5 years, as old as that kid is. Don't worry about it.
Minus 9 months.
Yeah.
I must admit, I was in such a... I'll just accept what's coming at me frame of mind. I wasn't thinking at all, and I just... So the reveal of the kid being his, I didn't actually see that coming because I was not engaging with it.
Yeah.
I was just staring at a screen.
Yeah. You'd have to have some kind of investment to try and anticipate where the story's going.
Right, and I wasn't. And when that happened, I went, that's kind of cool,
something.
Actually. Yeah,
it's something.
I actually sat up on my seat and went, that's actually kind of cool. And so it adds a lot more. It explains a lot more of the way Lois is so reserved. The problem is... Okay, that explains why she's reserved, but it doesn't make the first hour excusable.
No.
She's hard to like.
I
The original Lois, fine.
Yeah.
No notes, fine.
I think Lois Lane as a character is hard to do.
Yeah.
Because she is combative.
Yep.
And male audiences don't generally like that in their romantic leads. It's necessary for Superman because if he had an agreeable romantic lead, it would be seen as like what do you call that? Like receptive to his dominance or something. It would be seen as just like, the Superman does get the submissive is the word I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah. Which we don't want. We want a woman who is like, I agree with you. Like, she having that secret that she's keeping from him does explain why she is distant, and it's a mask for she has this kind of anti-Superman sentiment that she's carrying on with for the first 2/3 of the movie, and she's written this Pulitzer Prize winning article. Why the world doesn't need Superman, or something like that. There's no universe in which something like that wins a Pulitzer Prize, but it doesn't help us to identify with the character or even enjoy their presence. And Kate Bosworth is not given much to work with. No. I think even, what's his name, who plays the husband? James Marsden.
James Marsden. I think he does a better job. He's not given much more. Yeah. He's given less, in fact. But I think he's just an innately likeable guy, I think. Yeah, because they could have played it as... he's a bit of an a-hole, so Clark's going to be really annoyed, and she's actually being treated poorly by him, and blah blah blah. Yeah, but no, he seems like a pretty good dude. Nice dude. He's raising a kid that's
he knows is not his. And
Does he know that?
I thought he did. It's been a while since I haven't rewatched it.
I thought he didn't, but maybe I missed that too. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's very possible. I would say, if I enjoyed watching it.
Yep.
I probably wouldn't watch it again though. Whereas I would happily rewatch some of the Christopher Reeve films.
Yeah.
Here's my notes for fixing it. Give him a red cape, not a brown one.
Yep.
The general aesthetics are very brown and murky.
Yep.
So fix the colour grading.
What was the style at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really not a fan. I wasn't a fan then.
No,
not a fan
it's
now.
nuts that there's an entire continent made of kryptonite and it's brown.
Yep.
There's little bits of green poking through it, but
Yes.
that thing should be glowing green. It should be a green sun in the sky.
Given that it's in love with the original, I cannot understand why Bryan Singer said, get the brown cape from Superman 3. That's just dumb. It sounds like a small thing, but the vibrancy and the colours are so iconic.
It's part of it.
It is very much linked to it. I don't know, it'd be like having a Star Wars has turned to slop anyway, but having a Star Wars movie where the lightsabers are dull brown.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It's
make
part
that decision?
of
and
the
it didn't make
colour coding is part of the identity of this thing.
Right, and because it is linked to that, Americanism and so on.
Yeah.
So fix the colour grading, make Lois a little more likeable, and trim about 10 minutes at the end, and probably about another 10 minutes throughout the film generally. So because it kind of ends and keeps going for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's too much.
It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's it does too much kind of Superman making peace with, this kid being his, and he's just going to watch over from afar and all that. Which
you could have done that in a minute.
And it's also that's a weird way to leave the character. That's a weird. I don't think Superman would do that. I don't think the movie has a fair enough idea of what Superman means, but it doesn't have a good idea of who Superman is. I think the character who's best served by that movie is Lex Luthor.
Definitely.
Kevin Spacey, credibly accused of sexual harassment. He's great in this.
He's fantastic.
He is so good at picking up where Gene Hackman left off, and he is a brilliant Lex Luthor. The way he is kind of a bit of a New York lovey.
He's got that sort of sarcasm about him.
He's very sarcastic, just utter disdain for everybody around him, and the movie opens with him he has manipulated a widow into leaving her fortune to him.
Yeah, so he basically hooked up and married an elderly woman for her money. Yeah. And as she's dying, he even helps her. She dies,
holds her hand.
And he holds her hand. So, So it's you didn't need to include that, but it's geez, what a character.
Yeah, it's good. And that's a good understanding of who Lex Luthor is.
He walks out, throws his wig in, and says, see you later, suckers, and goes on.
He has no scruples. Whatever it takes to win, that's what Lex Luthor will do.
Yep.
And so it's a good Lex Luthor movie.
It is.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd give that I don't know, if you were after the 4 films and you're itching for more, yeah,
it's not the worst.
It's no, not at all. Speaking of which, we said we wouldn't bang on about it too much.
Okay, let's go very quickly.
So there was only one technically film. It was Man of Steel. Yes, there was. He's been in.
I think is it 3?
He was in
3.
Batman vs Superman and Justice League.
Yeah.
And
Man of Steel. I would say if you have to see one of those 3 to get a taste, Man of Steel is the best by a galaxy
because it's focused on a single character more than anything else.
The other 2 movies, Batman vs Superman and Justice League, are atrocious. There's nothing redeemable about them, I would say. If
we're talking from a Superman perspective, there is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the films in general aren't good, but I mean, if we're the topic of today being Superman, are these good Superman movies? No. Man of Steel is very indicative of its time because it was 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it's got to be about that. I think it got greenlit shortly after The Dark Knight was huge.
Yes, hence Christopher Nolan's
called up by Warner Brothers we want to get Superman off the ground. What's your idea on Superman? Because famously, Christopher Nolan there were a lot of Batman ideas kicking around after Batman and Robin tanked. And there's some weird, like Darren Aronofsky had a Superman idea where Superman didn't have a costume, and the Batman was because he had a Wayne ring that he wore on his fist, and when he punched someone in the head, it left a W imprint that looked like a bat.
God.
And Alfred the Butler was Big Al, a mechanic who helped him fix up his Batmobile. Like, there were...
so people had no idea what they're doing.
Warner Brothers was desperate to reinvent Batman, and I'm not sure whether Nolan approached them or they approached Nolan. But Nolan's unique take on it was like something to do with, why does Batman have a cape? And not in a smart-ass way, but like, what is the realistic justification for why Batman does all these things? Because let's ground this thing. And that is amazing. Yeah, that had not happened.
And undeniably, you talked before about casting long shadows, and absolutely his films did a successful trilogy, made a bucket of money for Warner
reinvented Brothers. Batman as he exists, like even the Batman, the Robert Pattinson movie, is it's largely indebted to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, where it's like, what is the rationale for this character existing? Yeah,
so bring that to Superman. I remember that coming out, and I remember thinking, so they're going to do a Justice League where you got Superman and Batman in the same movie, and I just went, not going to work, because you got Christopher Reeve style Superman, and you've got dark and gritty Batman, so you can't have them in the same movie. And I was right, they didn't even try. No. So they said redesign Superman to be closer to Batman. And I said, but why? We've already got Batman.
Well, Nolan's unique take on Superman was like, Superman's an alien. So that's the angle we need to lean into with Man of Steel, is that Superman's an alien.
Is there a world where that could have worked? Because I maintain that it falls flat.
I don't think so. I think there's elements of that in Superman 2025, where that is an important element to that story.
Yeah, but it's not too grounded though.
But it's also like, that is the preface for what the actual point of Superman 2025 is, which is that Superman is a man. Superman's human. Like, he's born an alien, but he is a human because this is where he's grown up.
Yeah, true.
I maybe there could be an enjoyable Superman Kryptonian invasion movie, but I don't think that's a good Superman movie.
No. Again, we're getting back to that because the core character is about that optimism, and it sounds like we're moving on to Superman 2025, and I'm pretty happy with that. There's not much more to say.
Think, I had friends who were passionate about Superman comics who loved Man of Steel at the time, because like, it's a pretty good representation of Superman powers on the big screen.
Yeah, fair enough. I heard from Americans when you see all the urban destruction. If you were, say, in your 30s at the time, you were an adult when 9/11 happened, and it's like, we don't want to see this, and that's why. And I think, what was it, Batman versus Superman or something? They have these crummy lines like, "Oh, we've evacuated that building."
Yeah.
So
there's no civilians.
That's just.
That's intentional. It's Hollywood wanting to be like, it was pretty evocative when there was like all the towers collapsed. Let's get that on our movie. And then when people are like, I don't really like the way that you're cashing in on a trauma.
Especially when Superman, for forever, basically Superman was this optimistic symbol. Yeah. And now you're reliving our nightmares, which for Americans I can understand. It's a very understandable response.
Yeah, there are good parts to Man of Steel. Michael Shannon's General Zod is great.
You're right. The problem with that film's not him; it's Superman himself. I think.
I think Henry Cavill could be a good Superman. In a better movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Same. No, I won't go off on that tangent. I was going to talk about Affleck for a second, but no, it doesn't matter. But no, you're right. Cavill. No, I've got a lot of love for Cavill.
He's great in the Mission Impossible movie that he's in. Yeah,
he just, every time I see him with that moustache, it just cracks me up because I was listening to a podcast the other day. A shout out to someone I'm supporting as well on Patreon. What were they thinking? Mm-hmm. So they only talk about bad movies, and they kept referring to. So they did the theatrical cut of Justice League, and they kept referring to Henry Cavill as Babyface. Yeah. And I just went, oh yeah, you're right. It is. It's so off-putting. Yeah. And there's a scene later. It's like the point they made was the first scene is shot on a phone.
Oh, and yeah, they had to airbrush Cavill's mustache out because he was filming Mission Impossible, and they wouldn't let him shave it off.
Yeah. Or no, they said you can, but we'll have to shut down production, so you have to pay us all this money.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So a couple of million, and they just went, we've already spent $300 million on this movie, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So hence it was airbrush. But the first shot of the film is someone filming him on an iPhone, because it's supposed to be a bit of someone on the street talking to him. So the very first shot is you're on a big widescreen, but it's a vertical screen with babyface.
That's wild. That's such a dopey way to start. That's absolutely. So dumb. That is so dumb.
Yep.
So counterpoint.
Yep.
I love the way Superman 2025 starts.
Because he's losing, isn't he?
Yeah, it's it really is setting up something big. It's just this shot of the Arctic Circle, the wind blowing, and there's this. It's a very well written opening screed, which like 3 centuries ago or 3 millennia ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Metahumans revealed themselves and whatever. But then it breaks down like it's 3 centuries, 3 years, 3 months, 3 days, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you've got Superman landing in the snow with this big. In the cinema, it was phenomenal. It's like it's quiet, and there's the opening strings of the Superman fanfare.
And then
it's probably brass, to be honest. Who knows?
Sure.
There's no way to know, to be.
No.
Yeah, it is such a good start to the movie.
It is, and I think it maintains that well, because the biggest problem with if a hero has no threat.
Yeah.
And that's always been the problem with Superman. So start him at a low point, which I thought was pretty good and refreshing. We have talked a bit about.
It was Superman. One of my favourite movies last year, so I've talked about it.
Yeah,
before.
So we probably don't need to go into too much, but I guess a summary perhaps.
Yeah, I think the reason why that movie works, where previous Superman movies have not worked, is because of, like, the innate optimism and compassion of the character is forefronted. I think James Gunn, as a writer and director, understands that for Superman to work, he needs to be human, like alien biologically, but he's raised human. He's got human parents who he loves.
Because that's the point.
Yeah,
the fact that he was hence these alternative versions. The fact that he was raised by a wholesome country folk.
Yeah, he's just raised by parents who love him.
Yeah, and if he'd landed and been picked up by some gangs in New York or something,
or in Russia, which is like that's a comic that's
right.
That's essential to the character, and it's also essential to the character. Like his parents are just like messy, fallible humans. Like they're not glamorous. They're just.
No. Remember, we made mention of that. I don't think I've seen better casting.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. There's something strikingly everyday about them.
Yeah, they remind me of my parents.
Yes.
Like in that scene where, Jonathan Kent tears up saying how proud he is of Clark. That is, like, I've never seen, like, even when Superman's dad has died on screen before, it has not been that traumatic, emotional.
Yeah, the emotional impact. You see Kevin Costner get taken out by whatever it was.
A tornado or something, and he's, like, telling...
Yeah, don't save me because you'll reveal yourself.
Yeah, which is... stupid.
He could have just kissed everybody and flown around the earth.
But yeah, I think that movie in and of itself is a very good representation of Superman as a character. I don't know what the plan is for like the larger universe, whatever. But David Corenswet's a great Superman. He's very charming,
very good.
Boyish.
Yes.
Fallible, naive.
I think he's. I had no issues with Cavill, but I think he's better than Cavill. The juxtaposition of Superman and Clark Kent, I think he nails that.
Yeah. I think it's the best Lois Lane we've had.
Could be, yeah. Could be.
She's very combative. She argues with Clark and argues with Superman,
but not annoying.
No.
Or distant and kind of like Superman Returns. What is this?
That's the way she is.
Yes.
She's a cynic.
That works. Yeah, definitely.
Incredible Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult as a
what a strange career he's had.
He
was Beast, Renfield, and that Renfield movie, by the way, fantastic. I recommend
I'm
that.
not surprised. But there's a couple of guys like that in Hollywood, like Pattinson and Gosling and who just they seem to do what they want, and I appreciate that so much.
Absolutely, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he turned up for the Deadpool 2 cameo, when in Deadpool 2, where he says, the first movie was so successful, why aren't they giving us any X-Men? And it cuts to a side view and you can see Beast closing the door because all the X-Men are hiding. And he actually turned up and put the makeup on just to do that one part.
Yeah, and that would have been hours of makeup.
Oh, yeah. I think he was happy not to be Beast anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're all good. The reason why I don't rate this as high as the first couple Christopher Reeve films, I mean, this film, 2025, works better because it doesn't have the dopey ending of the first two.
Yep.
But why the first two work better for me, and even weird as this sounds to say, part 4, even Superman 4 works because it's just a simple thing. And these days you can't have it. You've got to have the Green Lantern there. He's got his dog. He's got all of these things.
So much.
And even though my last comment when we talked about it last time, I said it wasn't a deal breaker for me. I still enjoyed it. It still felt like a Superman film, which is generally when Warner Brothers goes wrong when they go, we're making a whatever.
We've got a cinematic universe. Let's get all the facts.
Yeah, let's have Batman check his emails so we can watch teaser trailers for other characters. This film never stopped for the other characters.
No, it's pretty, as far as these things go, it's pretty restrained.
It was probably the best you could do. And I just lament that that's the world we live in. Like, we had 3 Spider-Man movies that had more to do with Iron Man and Doctor Strange and all these other things rather than just being Spider-Man. But that's the world we live in. So this is just old man shouting at a cloud. But I would rather watch probably 1, maybe 2 and part 4 than watch the new one. Obviously the new one's a better made film. It's a very well made film. The visuals on it, that was one thing I wanted to mention, which I didn't mention in our last conversation. And I went, why didn't I bring that up? That was the first blockbuster I've seen for years I can't even measure right now, where the visuals really, really worked for me. So, for example, the Fortress of Solitude comes up, which is presumably all CG. Then they walk up and touch it, and I couldn't tell the difference. This, thinking back to Superman Returns, for example, and not just because it's 20 years old, there's just things where it looks murky and so the colours pop on this. The visuals look tangible, real, and you think of like Man of Steel probably looked as good in the context of the day that it was made. But I remember at the time, it was like 2010's effects just looked like, those are good effects. Whereas there I'm going, that looks like a real place. And I can't, maybe the Dune movies, I can't think of when I've looked at a film and went, I can taste the sand when the sandworm's coming kind of thing. So there's very few films in the past, say, decade.
That is definitely something the DC movies have got over Marvel. Like, if there haven't been many, the DC EU movies, that's dead. Like, let's not include them. So that leaves us with 4 movies to take into account. You've got the Batman, the Joker Folie à Deux, which I haven't seen, so...
I saw that on the big screen. That's a conversation.
That's a and Superman. And they all have distinct visual characteristics. Like I've already told, the Batman is an incredible looking movie. I wish I could remember the cinematographer's name. He's a superstar because the Batman, the 2 Dune movies, and now Project Hail Mary. He is Blade Runner 2049 as well. He's something very special. He's an Australian guy as well. Stuff it. I'm going to look that up. He deserves that. But he is a superstar. Like Project Hail Mary is. I'd be amazed if you see that movie and you don't come away feeling similarly. Where the Greg Fraser,
apparently. Known for his work on June, the Batman. Greg Fraser. I remember watching particularly Dune Part 2 and the Batman and just going, wow. And it's not often that I'll stop and notice cinematography in a good way. Because cinematography, if it's done well, you don't notice it.
No. I
noticed it, but in a good way, to be fair.
the movies I've thought are the most beautiful movies from the last couple of decades. If you had asked me, regardless of whether or not I was familiar with Greg Fraser's work, I'd have said like, oh, Blade Runner 2049 and Dune and the Batman and and it just so happens to be it's just this one guy.
Yeah, there's something he knows about. This is a broader discussion which I won't be getting into now. But the idea of optic versus haptic.
Yeah.
So we talked about like the sweaty 60s and 70s movies, and the new Superman is interesting because it doesn't look like a sweaty 60s 70s movie, but
it's got such good use of color and light.
Yeah. And that's what does it, I think. Lighting, there's a lot to be said for lighting. I think of the fellow that worked on Nosferatu as well. Where they would light scenes just by candlelight and so on. And there's something about lighting because you look at, say, Superman Returns, and there is digital color grading that's done as well, of course.
Yeah.
But the way things are lit, everything's brown, and okay, yes, they add a layer digitally as well. But I think if you lit those well, because everything's got digital grading these days. Superman 2025 has digital grading, but there's two layers to that. There's what did they film on the day, plus what did they do with the digital grading. That's two decisions that can go pear-shaped. And sometimes digital grading is there to fix things that happen on the day. But yeah, you're right. The color pops. It feels real, and that to me is the film's second strength. The first one's the one you talked about. They nailed the character.
Yeah.
The story, and despite all the things attached to it, which annoy me, but whatever, still done pretty well. But he's the core of it. What does he stand for? I think they got that right.
Yeah. I think as well, I can't remember whether we talked about it last time. It is an overtly political movie, which Superman has never, when I say never, he absolutely has. We've talked about it already. Superman 4 is a political movie, but it's not often as overtly political as Superman 2025 is. It is a commentary on imperial expansionism and all that sort of stuff, and how important it is to stand up against tyranny. Even if you're just one person doing it, that one person inspires others. And if you're not doing it, the people who die at the hands of tyrants don't know they've got support, and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot there that Superman has not dealt with on film previously.
Yeah, and I don't know if we talked about this last time, but the idea that, because my question is, could you make a Superman 4 today? It's just really naive and simple, that simple version of that. And I don't know if you could, because the world's a very different place and audiences are a lot more cluey, and if I think people would come away from that going, oh, that was a bit too saccharine or simplistic or something. Because there's a dark edge to this. It feels light and optimistic, but there's a dark edge to it. But it's not, let's put him in a silver suit and dull the colours and all that sort of thing.
I don't know. I don't think you could do, it couldn't just be about nuclear proliferation. If it's like, hey, can we have Superman solve the world's problems in this movie? And it might just be because our problems are much more complex than they were. Because we're more aware of the problem. I mean, they were equally complex in the 80s, but we weren't as clued onto it. Yeah, like Superman, you can get rid of all nuclear weapons, that solves the nuclear armament problem, but what about all the other problems that we got, like drone strikes and, whatever. So, yeah, that's fun. So not even Superman could save us, is the point. Yeah, I think so. Shit, I mean, that's bad. So I guess a summary, Christopher Reeve still my favourite Superman. The first two, despite their flaws, and like I said, I've got a soft spot for part 4. And then the new one, and everything else in between, I'm happy to just kind of disregard. I think that's where I'm sitting with it. But the point is, I've sort of come back to him a little bit. Yeah, I as I said, when I was an edgy teen, I was all aboard for Batman. Oh yeah. And I kind of fell out of love with Batman. And the second I saw Dark Knight Rises, I was like, oh, we're done here. And then I was Spider-Man for a while. But now I'm thanks to the movie last year, I get Superman again. And I feel, as a sensitive, man who was raised by loving parents, I identify a lot with this Superman. As not as a, not to brag, I'm not as ripped as that Superman.
Pretty close though.
Pretty close. But no, just like the way that he will like proudly save a squirrel, and he wants the big kaiju to be led out of the city so it can be saved humanely. I completely relate to all that stuff. I don't like killing insects at home. I want them to go outside where they can live, go see their wife and kid again.
It's a little bit Star Trek Next Generation, isn't it? Like that optimistic view of the future, and it's like, we need that kind of stuff again.
Yeah, that's it. There again, referring back to that, the question is culture downstream of politics, or is politics downstream of culture? Like Superman is like, it's asking that question. Can this change the way, can the boys who see this movie grow up to be better men? Or is this movie a reaction against men who have forgotten what we should be aiming to be? Maybe it's both, maybe it's neither.
I was about to say, I wonder if it can be both at once. I like to think that there's some boys who see that, and that monologue at the end between Superman and Luthor and all that. Wonderful, beautiful stuff in there. The message there is pretty powerful. I definitely got some time for that film.
I think
which surprised me.
It's a more than the other Superman movies. The Superman 2025 is a powerful political message.
Do you want to do the strike rate thing?
Let's. I don't think it'll take us very long.
No, well, there's not so many. Let me get this scrap bit of paper. We've got the that's what we said for the James Bond movies. That's interesting. All right. Some kind of writing implement. Here we go.
All right.
So, Superman 1. What do you got?
I'll give Superman 1 an 8.
I think I'll give it an 8 too, based on the positive buzz I had after watching it. And I think that the 2 points it's missing is really just the ending, and it's basically everything else is spot on, really.
The more I think about that ending, the more likely I am to take points off. But no, I'm happy with 8. I'm going to take points off Superman 2 for the ending. Because I think that's much worse.
Well, Superman 2, the theatrical cut or the Donner cut?
So I've only seen the theatrical cut.
Okay, what do you got for the theatrical cut?
I'll give it a 7. I love Zod. I don't like the ending at all. I don't like the cellophane S that he pulls off.
That's not in the Donner cut, so the Donner cut is 1,000 times better because it doesn't have the cellophane S.
Cellophane S is so dumb. They just keep giving Superman powers. Amnesia Kiss and cellophane S.
Cellophane S is... Look that up. Google it. Cellophane S. Even Family Guy made fun of it. Okay, I agree. 7. Even though it's been a while, but there are some really, really good scenes that Donner only cut because he didn't film them, but they're good scenes that he cut. And so I do not accept the argument the Donner cut is objectively better.
Fair.
So I'm actually going to give the Donner cut... I know you haven't seen it. I'm actually going to give it a 6. Because you've got the same ending. So yes, the kiss is dumb, but at least you don't have literally the same ending twice in a row, which you have with the Donner cut. But 6 is still good.
6 is fine.
No worries there at all. Superman 3.
What did I give Alien Resurrection? Did I give it a 1?
A 1 or a 2, somewhere around there.
I'm going to give Superman 3 a 2.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 1. I just watched it a month ago, so it's fresh. Superman 4.
I'll give it a 5.
I'm controversially going to give it a 6, the equivalent of the Richard Donner cut, but certainly not as good as the first two. Flaws aside, the core of that thing is solid.
I think it's easy to forgive a movie that tries hard on a small budget. It's not good that whoever decided it needed a small budget, it was only going to get a small budget, whatever.
The boys of Cannon kind of messed that up rather poorly. It was Superman 3 had the money, they just didn't have the brains.
No.
Returns?
Oh, let's go 4.
There you go. I was going 4 because I was thinking, no, it's there's a lot of good in there, but
It's got a weird. The problem with it is how empty it is.
Yeah,
It's
I think you wouldn't notice that much if you trimmed it more. And I reckon someone online just redo the color grading for us.
yeah.
And if you trimmed it, no 4. So it's not a pass, but it's
Yeah.
not horrible. Man of Steel.
3.
Oh, weirdly, yes, I was thinking of 3 as well.
I think it's better than Superman 3, but not much better.
Yeah, I mean, I went from a 1 to a 3 there, so I'm definitely upgrading it. We're not doing the Batman vs Superman stuff, are we? That's not even a Superman movie.
No, you don't write it down, but it would be a 1 or a 0 for me. Those movies are like charmless.
Train wrecks. So, 2025.
Oh, I got a lot of time for this movie. I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow. Okay. I probably need to see it again. I'm going to. I'll probably give it a. I'll give it. I was going to go low. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. So that puts it on par with. So basically, for me, the top is Superman 1, and then Superman 2, the theatrical cut, and 2025 are tie for second. And then Superman 4. So Superman 4 is a lower mark, but if I just wanted a simple, light, fun film, I'd rather watch the fourth one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So how does that calculate to be? Because that's a pretty high strike rate for those movies.
That is surprisingly high. I must admit, when we were talking, I didn't think that much, but upon reflection, as we pick it apart...
I think the price he paid with Superman is that there was like 20 years without a Superman movie. And so there's just not many of them.
I mean, there was Superboy, the TV show. How can we complain when we had that masterpiece?
Yeah.
All right. So the averages are mine averages at a 6. Yours is a 5.4. I mean, you've got a 9, an 8, and a 7.
Yeah.
There's a few. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, the Superman movies I really like, and there's some that I have just no time for because they misuse or don't understand the character, I guess. Yeah. But I would not have thought, like, if we did the same exercise with Batman or Spider-Man, I don't know that they'll fare any better.
No, probably not.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best superhero franchise in terms of strike rate.
Probably. By virtue of not having made as many films, maybe, I don't know, as some of the other franchises. But, I mean, if you're averaging over 5...
It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Given that, some of them are atrocious.
I mean, that was, from memory, better than Alien.
Yeah.
Like Alien and Predator, I think we averaged around a 4.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because remember, they peak with 1 and 2 and then dies right off a cliff after that. Yeah. So, yeah, I think...
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I guess the sum up point, which we desperately need to get to... I've come back to it, and there's definitely some positive things here, which I don't know. You asked me a year ago, and I wouldn't have guessed that at all before the Gunn film came out. I just went, no, I haven't been interested in this since I was a kid. Why would I? And so it's been quite a turnaround. It's been fun to explore and see how things have changed, and the complexity of the character changes with the complexity of the world around it naturally.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it quits there. Until next time. Thank you very much, Nate.
No, thank you so much. It's been fun.